we are kind of limited in the areas we can utilize the funding, and we're limited to what it goes to. And I can't answer that entirely. I know the Hafen Park was calculated as kind of a neighborhood park, which made it eligible for this funding. And that's probably why I'm personally supporting this as much as possible, not because of the cost, but because I believe that money should be spent on projects in that area, at that park, or appropriately close to that park. Obviously, the bids were higher than we anticipated. What bid was it?
Well, I agree with you. I've thought about this, and I've thought about the money, the $270,000 kind of in our current economic situation was a bit of a concern, and it still is. But on the other hand, this is a project that I think has some great benefit to this community, as does the parks in general, the tennis courts, the rec center, this BMX bike deal. I mean, a lot of the things we're doing has some community benefits. But you know, there's been some discussion about potential alternative locations. I think the location is perfect. I mean, that is the, I think, the premier park that we have in Mesquite, with the pond, with the tennis courts, with the large field for ball picnic areas, that sort of thing. So I think it's an ideal spot right on the trail, Hafen Trail. And I ride that trail all the time, and I know that I can get from the rec center to that park in 5 minutes on my bicycle, and I can walk it in probably 15 minutes at the most. So it is accessible to a great deal of people in this community. I think it's a great asset. We cannot, I know we can't, you can't control the cost under the, what do you call that, you know, when you're charged 30% more prevailing wage, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. So we're going to pay 30% more than somebody else might. I agree with you. There's probably no alternative location that would be reasonable or cheaper by any stretch. I mean, I can't see. I don't know what else we're going to do with this, and it has to be used, you know, for the kids or for the parks or in the community that it's been delineated. So, as much as I don't want to spend the $70,000 or whatever we're ultimately going to be out of this after the last grant, I would hate to lose this, and I would hate to not have this amenity for the citizens and the kids.
Councilman,
not to belabor this, I'm too very much in favor of the location for the splash pad and for the splash pad. I'm still somewhat uncomfortable with the fact that there is only one bid to look at. And in going through the pages and pages of documents, nowhere do I see a picture of what this thing actually looks like. And I've looked at pictures of splash pads all over the country. Some of them are very elaborate, and they have all sorts of things for the kids in the way of bent pipes and all this very elaborate equipment. And others just have holes in the ground where water shoots up at $32 a spigot, which seems to be the going price for those. Again, if I go out and I buy a home and spend that kind of money, I'd like to see what it looked like before I purchased it. Likewise, when I go out and buy an automobile, and I'm looking at this and I don't see anything other than a location.
It's in the plans and specs, and obviously I submitted the specifications for this project and put the plans into it. So I'd have to pull in. Could I suggest we put this at the end of the agenda, and I'm going to set up these plans and put it up on the screen?
talking to your mic.
I don't think anyone heard that, sorry.
Well, what I'm suggesting is maybe move this item to the end of the agenda. Could we do that and hear it last? And what I'll do is go down to my office and get the plans and specs, and we'll put it on the board and look at it. Would that be an option for, I mean, I'm sorry,
No, I understand. That would be fine with me.
Our attorney's not liking that option.
That wasn't submitted in the package.
It's someone from your, well.
The problem is it wasn't submitted in the package for your deliberation.
it's
Can I-
exactly the same.
Mayor,
Go
can I
ahead.
suggest we bring it back to the next one? I know he's anxious to get it moving, but it needs to be in the package for your deliberation.
Mr. Mayor, also, if we could address Councilman Withalter's concerns as well at that time.
Okay. Councilman Green, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wondered, is there any possibility we could try to generate other bids? Who builds these all around the country? And I know that you had a lot of people show up. Earlier on, I'm still hung up a little bit on this one bid, especially when it's 10% higher than it was just 12 months ago, and it does cause us to use general funds. So that's my hang up. I'm just wondering if we did table it for a bit, we could maybe just make sure we've exhausted every possibility to get somebody else that has experience in this area to bid on. Thank you.
Councilman Withalter.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to back up and tell you that I do support this project, and I think it's there for all the right reasons, and especially those reasons that Mr. Rapson had mentioned. But I am absolutely adamant that we got to have some sort of a business plan and some sort of administration for this to see exactly what cash flow is and what expenses and profit and loss statements are. Have a per se business plan. Thank you.
Councilman Hafen.
Just a couple, I guess, a clarification. Mr. Tanner, you said this is a 5-year program started in 2010. Did I understand that right?
I believe 2009.
Okay, so, I mean, we're kind of running up against the decision of where we're going to put this money. Is that a fair statement, or?
It is, and we, in that decision, that money, as to answer Councilman Rapson's question, yes, we have till June 30th, 2015 to spend our allocation of money. Now, we've been working on this project since 2010, and through bidding it, rebidding it, making modifications, changing the scope a little bit. Yeah, we need to make something happen within the next year, and I see the confinements of the space, the area that we have that we can utilize the money in is a tight area, and so it's kind of like where we use the money, how much money we have, and how do we get the project done in the time frame. And we've also expended $58,000 in engineering costs that CDBG grant has already reimbursed us for, that if we change the project and the scope of the work, I'm assuming there may be something that has to be done in that manner. I can't answer that. To answer Councilman Withalter's, asking about a business plan, as I review all of the documents clear back from 2010, 2012, at no particular time was any discussions made on charging for this park. I think the discussions was that this was something we were going to build and it was going to be added to the fund, and we were going to have to pay for those maintenance costs. I wasn't involved in those conversations, but we're pretty deep into this now to be discussing how we're going to pay the maintenance cost. I assume that was a given, that we would absorb those maintenance costs into our pool fund and our recreation fund.
Councilman Rapson.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bill. At no time did I recall any discussion with respect to charging an entry fee or anything, and the pro forma would be very simple: zero income and $25,000 a year in expense, right, and plus repairs and maintenance. So, I mean, I think that's the pro forma, if I'm not mistaken. I have no issue postponing this for one more session to get the relevant questions answered for Councilman Littman and other questions, but I'm kind of in that position that Mr. Tanner spoke about. You know, we need to move or it's lose, and we've been on this for 5 years, far past this, the prior administration was doing this, and now we're doing it, and we've revisited this thing several times. At some point, you gotta pull the trigger, and or we're gonna lose the whole thing. And I think that's, I think time is of the essence, and I think we need to move, but I think it's a fair 2-week postponement to get the questions answered. And if I'm not mistaken, and frankly, I don't remember what this looked like, but we did see a plan of this at one point. Is that correct?
That is correct. The plan has been in almost all of the agenda packets. I elected to put it in this one because I didn't want to flood you with information that we've all been over and over and over, and I wanted to get the relevant stuff out of the bid, the award, the funding, and where the funding was coming for. Delaying this for 2 weeks is probably not a deal breaker at all. We still have some other things that we can be working on. We have a Southern Nevada Health District permit that we're answering some questions on. But we are able to do that, and then I can bring back a maybe even a architectural rendering of what the splash pad will look like. I'm almost sure that's even in the documents. And then also we were anticipating trying to open this in July, July 15th to August 1st. Those dates are prevalent on when I issue a notice to proceed. Notice of award could be April 11th. Notice to proceed would be 10 to 15 days after that. And then the 70 to 90 days to construct. So we could still be, even with the 2-week delay, we're still looking at, if everything stays on schedule, a August 1st or August 15th opening date.
That would be the cool part of summer. Councilman Rapson, did you have another comment? Councilman Haven?
I do. I'll follow.
Well, I concur, we can wait 2 weeks, if there's no other comments, but it sounds like there's another question. I'm ready to make a motion.
Councilman Rapson, you have
No, it's good. That's what I was going to do.
any further questions? Go ahead, Councilman.
Mayor, I move that we postpone the consideration of bid award for the Haven Splash Pad to the first meeting in April.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote. That motion carries. Thank you.